So I am still very, very much so surprised that we were following all that chaos that had been going on at Kent County Council, and somehow Linda Carmen somehow is keeping going in her position. Why? Who knows? But that's the decision they keep on going on. There's still this big rumor that there's going to be this no confidence vote potentially happening in the next week or so. So we'll definitely be keeping you updated on that. But as I often bring up, stuff happens so much that I end up missing it. So we were talking about what happened in Leicestershire, the fact that they're bringing in outside auditors in the hope that somehow they'll find all this waste and Dan Harrison will be able to save the day in Leicestershire. I don't think he is, to be honest. The deadline for the first budget in December is going to be rapidly approaching. Is he even going to make it? I don't know. Auditing an entire council in where are we now? October, in a month? That's impossible. Impossible. Whichever company decided to take that on, who knows? But wow, that's a mammoth test. Then, of course, we've got the stuff going on in Nottingham, spending like 75k on flags. Practically like what, £500 per flag or something like that. That's insane. And then, because of all this, financial chaos we've got going on, and because they've all been breaking their rules, Darren Grimes still going at it like crazy, trying to find any excuse or something that will stick for them to raise the local council tax without them appearing as if they broke their promise. Meanwhile, of course, most of you will know that like 5% is normally the minimum. However, this council, this reform-run council in Worcestershire, guess what? They want to propose a 10% rise in council tax. So not only are they going to go up to the 5%, they're going to go above and beyond that. So that's definitely a U-turn coming from a party that last November campaigned non-stop on the fact that they were going to cut all this waste, fraud, and abuse, and that they were going to be able to reduce people's council tax because they did that. Anyway, before we do get on into this, please do, of course, remember to click on the like, share, and subscribe button down below. There is, of course, the Patreon page down below. There's the Buy Me Coffee link where you can buy me coffee, the YouTube thank you button. And, of course, as always, there's the YouTube membership down below. There's, of course, this little QR code up here. That'll take you straight to the Patreon page as well. So thank you very much to everyone who does help and support the channel that way. And, of course, don't forget to click on like and share button. Don't forget to ring the bell. And, of course, don't forget to leave a comment as well. If you are from Worcestershire, we've had a couple of people from Leicestershire comment on my last video. So thank you very much to all those people who have done so. If you are from Worcestershire, I would love to hear your thoughts on this, on what you think is going to happen here. It's always fascinating to hear from locals. And if you do happen to be a councillor from Worcestershire and you see this and you want to come on and you want to dish the dirt, because trust me, you guys know firsthand what's going on more so than probably anyone else. As I've always said, if you are an opposition councillor and you are currently under a reform-run council, you are more than welcome to come on here and tell me just what's going on your council. Please do. I very much encourage you to do that. It is something not a lot of councillors do, but I would love to speak to people in that position, because I guarantee there's even more stuff that you guys know that doesn't get reported. So, as always, let's carry on then into this. So, council now asks residents to consider a 10% council rise. So, residents across the entire county are now being asked for their views on a potential council tax hike of up to 10%, as well as now the prospect of millions of pounds in cuts. So, not only are they going to raise the council tax, but they're also going to go, yeah, we're going to cut all this as well. Anyway, Worcestershire County Council is now considering on the 2020 on the 26-27 budget. People, of course, are now invited to give their feedback by the 1st November. And if you are from this county, I would very, very much say you should go and give your feedback on that. In a now 32-page document, it asks people their opinions on a range of council tax options. Because, according to Rob Walton, the cabinet member for finance, the council is in a very, very challenging situation. Interesting that all these councils they've taken over have always been in this very similar situation. These people criticized non-stop these councils prior to them taking over, and now they're in the same situation. They're doing stuff like this, and yet, if this was any other council, these people who would have gotten would be like foaming at the mouth that the idea that their council is doing this. So opposition councillors also voiced concern over the suggestions, now accusing the Reform-led authority of seeking a justification to cut services down to the bone. The document, of course, states the Reform administration is now currently working on a planning assumption that bills will rise by 5%, and this will, of course, add around 80 million, or it's just weird, just 80. Again, £80 a year to the annual mid-range Band D rate. But also, it also warns that the council is now under significant financial pressure, with, of course, the authority now planning to make widespread cutbacks, asked, of course, the government for an exceptional financial support of over 34 million to try and help balance the books. The council had to make that very same mechanism to borrow over 33 million pounds just for this financial year, or face declaring itself bankrupt. Mr. Walton said the council is, of course, keeping all our option opens, and explained that we would now need permission from the Secretary of State for any increase over 5%. But there are some people who are quite happy to, of course, pay the extra tax to fund public services. At this stage, it is about incorporating everyone's views, he said. He said we would, of course, move heaven and earth to try and keep rates down. And, of course, plans now focus on selling off assets like the county hall to provide an even further income. So, people of Worcestershire, it's not going to just stop at county hall. If you look at a lot of conservative councils that have done this, they've pretty much sold everything off they possibly could. Anything that was not nailed down or anything that they could get away with selling, they did. I think these reform people are not even going to be too concerned about that. I think they will sell anything they can. So if you are in Worcestershire and you know something is, owned by the council, and you worry about that might potentially being sold off, I would keep an eye out on everything. I will keep an eye out on everything. So at the moment, Worcestershire County Council, of course, has the third lowest council tax bills in the country, over £1,615 for Band D for a Band D household. The current consultation also asks people what services should be, of course, the focus for savings, including the areas like social care, highways, libraries, and schools. Really, you're going to ask people, yeah, what should we cut? What should we get rid of? Guarantee you, no one wants to cut any of this. This has been something that people have been saying for years. Whenever, like, the Conservatives used to go out about this when they went on about austerity, even their own voters would turn around and just go, "Yeah, we don't want that to be cut. We would rather pay a higher rate to fund those services than actually see them cut." But they went ahead and did it anyway, which is part of the problem why, things are quite as in the situation they are now. So there you go. And of course, councils had to bear the brunt of austerity. So what have the opposition councillors had to say of this? Opposition councillors have now voiced a concern over the scale of the financial challenges ahead. Councillor Adam Kent, the opposition Conservative group leader, said it would be absolutely nuts if the council tax went up by 10%. Kent, of course, blamed the government for not providing enough funding for key services and asked, why should Worcestershire residents be now penalised? Labour councillor Richard Udall said, I think they're now looking for justification for a slash and burn policy so that they can cut services to the bone, and, of course, the consequences will be severe. So, yeah. If you live there, I would be very worried. I would be very worried that they're going to go on an absolute fire sale and just complete slash and burn approach. It really does seem like they are that way inclined. Potentially, as you've got to remember, most of these reform people, they are free market fundamentalists. So they will be very, very happy to just go, and get rid of it. Very happy indeed. So we'll see what happens there. But make no mistake, when it goes into December and we start seeing these first budgets go before cabinet, January, of course, it then goes before the full council, and then February it has to go before budget committees. We're going to have a very couple busier months coming up very soon, talking about all these things. That's for sure. But as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to leave a comment down below, especially if you are from that area. I would love to know what you think about all this. And of course, as always, we'll see you all next time.